Hi there, and welcome to the Content Assessment and Optimize Case Study Series. Today we're going to take a look at a new homepage that's in the works. This is the best place to start because at this level, changes can still be made. If your site is already finished, it's okay, but sometimes we feel like we've invested time and energy into creating that site and we might not want to rework it, and I totally get that. However, it goes without saying that your website should be something you regularly assess and optimize because your audience and customers change, as do your services. So let's first look at what is working on this site. So what we've got here is a site for Natalie, and she is a professional coach. So taking a look at the first good points here, the first thing we see is that the site is very clean and uncluttered with lots of white space, and that's a good thing. We want to make sure that people can find what they're looking for easily when they come to the site, and that's a major factor in keeping them on the site for more than just a few seconds. The second thing is that Natalie has a sign-up box front and center right under the header. This is a great strategy. Other places to include a sign-up box are at the right side in the sidebar if you have one, and then again at the bottom of the page in the footer area. The third item is that Natalie has included a picture of herself in the header. And research shows that having a picture of yourself raises credibility, and credibility is huge when we're asking people to give us their email address or give us their money or give us their time. You don't have to put the image in the header, but you do have to put an image of yourself on the page, preferably. I know a lot of sites don't do that, but someone like Natalie, who is a professional services provider, as a coach or a consultant or an expert, having a picture of yourself, preferably above the fold, is a really, really great idea. So those are the good things that we can see on this page. Let's look at some specific places where we can improve this website. First, the header text. All of it should be bigger. It's a little bit too small, and we really want it to stand out. Right now, the thing that stands out is a picture of Natalie, which is not a bad thing, but we really want people to see her services. Professional coach, workshop facilitator, speaker, those items really need to stand out. The other thing I'd like to see is a tagline or a unique selling proposition in the header as well. The header tells me Natalie's skills, but not what she does with those skills that makes her specific services unique. So a tagline would do that. Natalie's key customer targets are social and environmental organizations and entrepreneurs. A tagline for her could be as simple as helping social and environmental organizations and entrepreneurs create positive change. And I've gone ahead and put that on the sidebar there so that you can kind of take a look at what I've crafted. It's not perfect, but it says exactly what she does and who she helps. And that is exactly what a tagline should do. Cute does not work. Clever does not work. People want to know what you do and what you can do for them. So when target customers come to her page and they see a tagline like the one we've quickly written on the side there, they're going to know right away that Natalie is the person for them. Now, moving on to the second item that we want to focus on, and that is the purpose of the homepage. And when I say purpose, what I mean is, what do you want your visitor to do? Because it just isn't enough to inform them. Your website isn't Wikipedia. Your website is your sales pitch. In this case, we have more than one purpose. The first is that we want visitors to sign up for the free newsletter. So under the header, we see a sign-up box, which is great. Now, how do we get visitors to take action? And how do we get them to sign up for the newsletter? We need to start by having a clear call to action. Yes, as the button text isn't strong enough. It needs to say something more like, yes, send me strategies and tips. It's better, it's long, but I think it could be reworked to encourage a stronger call to action for the customer coming to the page. It could say something as simple as join now, which is also another call to action. Yes, just isn't a call to action. It's not an action oriented word. The incentive to join the newsletter is also important. So again, this is a content or copy issue. By rephrasing the statement, get strategies and tips on how to turn your work into your calling, we can make it a bit more compelling and a bit more benefits oriented. So I would propose changing it to read more like turn your work into your calling. Find out how with our weekly newsletter. Now, I don't know if the newsletter is weekly. I'm just guessing that it could be weekly or monthly, but you should also tell your customers how often you're going to send it to them so that they know what to expect. But also, when we go back to the copy text, we're like, turn your work into your calling. That's a really compelling piece of information. And if I want to know more, I'm going to have to sign up for the weekly newsletter. So that really it does a bit more to get people to join the newsletter. On this page or in this section, just one last design comment, and that would be that the font in the sign up text box area should be different than the text that's used in the header or body, just because we want it to stand out. And if all of the fonts that you're using are the same, it won't stand out. So you could do something as simple as switching from the Arial font style font to a Times Roman type font, or even just italicize it, something just so that when my eyes are going down the page, it stops me. And so even something as simple as italicizing that text could really make a big difference in whether people see it and take action. Okay, so let's move on to the next item, the third item on the list, and that's the body copy. The body of the page is important. This is where you need to become as customer focused as possible. So by now we know who you are and what you do. We also know who you do it for if we've included a tagline. And that's great because if I'm a social entrepreneur, then I'm going to keep reading. But my main question is going to be what's in it for me. Here's where the content must become benefits driven. I like emotional benefits the best because they tend to be primary. Sure, we need to be more organized and say a day timer has 15 different ways to color code our tasks so we can do a quick glance and we know what needs to be done when, but the reality is this. Above and beyond everything else, we just want to feel less overwhelmed and we want to feel like we've accomplished more. We want to feel better. So the features of a day timer, the color coding, or the benefits, helping us figure out what needs to be done quickly, those are important. But the emotional benefit of feeling better because we've accomplished more is going to be much more effective in our copy. So in the body section for Natalie's page, I'd like to see language that focuses on the customer's problem and provides a solution. So some generic language that we could use to begin crafting the body copy might be something like this. Let me change the slide here so I can see what I've written. You can follow along as I read it. As a social entrepreneur or organization, you want to feel like you're making a difference. You want to leverage your strengths and make an impact without feeling overwhelmed. When you work with me as a coach, facilitator, or speaker, you or your organization can count on, and this is where we move into bullet points. Now, bullet points are really, really effective for skimmers. We always want to break up the text as much as possible so that it doesn't look like a big wall of text or a big chunk of text. Also, having bullets helps to bring some attention to specific items. And so these specific 3 points that we're going to make, these are also emotional benefit driven type statements. And I would also include some bolding of specific parts of these bullets to also draw attention as for the skimmers, because everyone skims. You skim, I skim, we all skim. So in order to get people to keep reading and to stay on the page, we want to have them have the ability to skim easily and quickly. The point of skimming, it may seem like I don't want them to skim. I want them to read every single thing I've written so they know exactly what I do. However, if you can get them to skim and read the high points, typically, if those high points interest them and affect them, they will go back up to the top of the page and they will start reading more thoroughly the copy that you have there. So using bullets and using bold text is never a bad thing. It's only can help. So let's look at the bullets that I've sketched out. The first one is discovering and leveraging your greatest strengths so that you can make meaningful change. So that's a great benefit. If you're going to work with Natalie, that's one of the benefits you're going to get. Another benefit you're going to get is learning to tackle overwhelm so that you can feel less stressed and more powerful. Again, hitting on the emotional things that are important to people. And finally, more effectively problem solving and collaborating so that you can increase personal and organizational well-being. So those are the 3 bullet points that I quickly sketched out. Again, all of this can be modified and some of it could use some work. The point is this is how we want the body copy to read. And finally, we need to have a call to action in this section because this is the second part of our purpose, right? So we want a nice button or hyperlink that tells the reader what to do next after they've skimmed and read the body copy. So a call to action could be as simple as learn more about how we can work together to achieve your goals. That's very simple. It could be a button and it could just lead people to a contact page so that they can contact you to talk to you about your particular services. So just want a few more quick items. I like the visual boxes at the bottom, but I don't know what they mean. You've got a box for organizations, entrepreneurs, meeting planner. Those are great. However, I'm not sure where they go and I'm not sure what they do, and they don't specifically align with the 3 things that you do: professional coach, workshop, facilitator, speaker. So they need a little bit more explanation. Keeping those images on the page means making sure that their purpose is clear to the person coming to the page, especially if it's the first time that they've been there. Navigation is really, really important. We always want to make sure that when people come, they know exactly what to do. Again, creative, clever, cute is fun. But if I come to your website and I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go or how I can find out more information, then I'm probably going to go someplace else, get frustrated looking, and clearly the emotion that you want someone to have when they're on your site is not frustration because I can't find what I'm looking for. So I like the images, I like the idea of the images, but I would like to see a little bit more explanation as to what they are and what they are for. And then in the footer area, I think all that stuff is great. It's got good information, how to contact Natalie, etc. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this case study. As you can see, there are no major changes needed. Most of the changes for the page itself relate to the content. Having a customer-focused website means making sure that your visitors know clearly why they are there and why they should keep reading, followed by what do they do next, right? So these are the things that we want them to know right away when they get there. Is it for them? Is this specifically a service that is not designed for them? And right now we don't know that when we first look at the page, so we want to make sure that things like social entrepreneur or social organization are key words that need to be front and center so that when I come there, if I am a social entrepreneur or I am a social organization, I know right away this place is for me and Natalie's services are for me specifically. I want to keep reading. I'd like to close up just by saying thank you to Natalie for allowing me to review her site. It's a great looking site. I really like it. I like the colors. I like everything about it. And I think with some minor content adjustments, it's going to be a really, really compelling site. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Be sure to share your questions in the comment section below. Thank you.